Finding the Silver Lining. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. There she is. And now on to our topic. Finding the Silver Lining. Since I'm recording this during Advent, right before Christmas, I thought this would be a fitting topic of conversation. After all, one of the themes of Advent is light coming into the darkness. And while this is not a video about religion, this industry has so much darkness, doesn't it? And it can be so tough not to get swallowed up by that darkness and negativity. So I'm going to highlight a couple things that can drag us down into that negative headspace and hopefully offer some silver linings that can maybe bring us back out of that and change our perspective. First, let's cover the big one. Self-taping. Follow me into this black hole of negativity for a moment. Now, I could sit here and list all the downsides of self-taping, of which there are many, but I want to talk about the biggest one, which is not having FaceTime with the casting director in the room. Compounding that problem, at least here in the Southeast United States, is the fact that almost all of these TV and film auditions have no callbacks of any kind, in person or virtual. So you're booked straight off a tape, and it means that there are some casting directors here in the Southeast that I've never met. I don't even know what they look like. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup. I don't know them from Adam. Adam was my college roommate. And yet, these cast directors know us very well from watching all of our auditions. So they've become comfortable with this self-taping reality because they feel completely equipped to do their job in this virtual environment. For us, though, we're just acting into a vacuum, a formless void that swallows up our hopes and dreams. And I'm slipping into the darkness. Must find silver lining. In all seriousness, though, many casting directors will agree that self-tapes provide everything they need to know in order to cast an actor with confidence. Our energy, our essence, our talent, our castability, etc. And I 100% agree, and that is a silver lining. In short, self-taping shouldn't feel like a liability that is preventing us from booking or that is adversely affecting how many auditions we book. In fact, because it's more efficient, the casting directors can see more actors. That means more opportunities. For context, here in the Southeast, I recently counted my TV and film auditions over a 12-month period. In that 12 months, I had 115 TV film auditions. 115 in 12 months. What? Now, I'm in a very broad category of white male, 40s, sometimes 30s, and I've been doing this for more than 20 years, which means I have very good relationships with all the casting directors here in the Southeast. But I can guarantee you my numbers wouldn't be nearly that high if all of those auditions were in person. The moral of the story with self-tapes is you need to find a way to enjoy the process. That will require you to be self-sufficient, and that in turn requires experience and, more importantly, training, so that ultimately you're not so reliant on feedback from casting directors to allow you to sleep at night. Because once you are self-sufficient, you can start to focus on all the benefits of self-taping. Doing it from anywhere, on your schedule, with your reader of choice, doing 2, 3, or 10 takes, only presenting your best work, etc. Man, there are a lot of benefits to self-taping. Who knew? Okay, so what's another black hole of this industry? Well, the other one I want to cover in this video is booking ratio. I can say with 100% certainty that everyone watching this video wishes their booking ratio was better, including myself. Remember those 115 TV film auditions I mentioned earlier? Well, that was during a 12-month drought. Yeah, so my ratio was 0 for 115. Not exactly proud of that number. And even when that booking ratio is better, we still tend to focus on the negative. Either that the bookings are too few and far between, or when we do book, it's not really the role we wanted, or it's not enough lines, or enough scenes, or enough days on set, etc. So what's the silver lining? Well, I'm getting to it. But first, this silver lining may require a complete recalibration of your why. Why are you an actor? If it's purely for fame, well, you're probably not watching this video anymore, and you shouldn't be on my channel to begin with. So, go find someone who will cater to that desire. It ain't me. But if you're an actor because you love playing make-believe and you want that to be your life's work, well then, put simply, act. You see, the reason you're feeling so negative is that you're placing 100% of the control, and therefore your happiness, in someone else's hands. You're waiting for permission to act. By seeing your bookings as the only real expression of your art, then you need a yes from your agent, from casting, from producers, from the director, from the studio, from the network, etc., before you ever feel like you get to do what you want to do. Because being on set is your only real validation. That will drive you nuts because, once again, you're not in control of when you book. And you'll keep trying to do things like train, which is a good thing, or change your headshots or your self-taping setup or your reader, etc., etc., and yet nothing seems to be the actual key to booking more. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. But what would happen if you actually enjoyed the audition experience regardless of outcome? Gasp. Sure, it's only to an audience of one, presumably your reader, but it's still acting. It's still doing what you love. And beyond that, you can find so many ways to express yourself that require no permission, like Instagram stories and reels, YouTube videos. Become a busker, a street performer, start a web series, just to name a few. And there are even more opportunities that require some permission, but a whole lot less than the TV film industry. Join an improv group, start a stand-up career. I sing Christmas carols every year with Like the Dickens Carolers. I've been doing it for 20 years. You could join a 48-hour film project team, or heck, start your own. And I haven't even mentioned doing plays. Every actor should do theater at some point in their career. And if you look at both equity and non-equity houses in your area, assuming you're not an equity actor, then there are actually a lot of opportunities and a whole lot less competition relative to the TV and film industry. Translation, your booking ratio for theater might be a lot higher than for TV and film if you pursue theater in your area. You also get the added benefit of a wider casting range. I wouldn't be limited to just police officers in their 40s. I could play Hamlet. I could play Smudge in Forever Plaid, who's supposed to be in his 20s. I could be Charlie Brown in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, etc. So even though you still need permission to act in a play, it's usually only one or two or maybe three people when you're doing theater, depending on the size of the theater, if it's equity or not, if there's an artistic director, blah, blah, blah. But by and large, it's less people that have to agree to hire you than in the TV and film industry, thus making it easier, making it a slightly lower barrier to get cast in a play versus TV or film. Because arguably in theater, the better actor will get cast, whereas in TV and film, you can be the best actor, and that actually has no real bearing on whether or not you get the role. But that's a topic for another video. Oh, and acting in front of a live audience is one of the most intoxicating experiences ever. In the end, how you look at this industry is really up to you. If I gave you the task to write down 5 pros and 5 cons to either self-taping or booking ratio or any other topic in this industry, I bet you could do it. And then if I asked you to add 5 more cons to that same topic, I'm sure you could do it. If I then asked you to add 5 more pros to that same topic, I bet you could do it. So if you can keep adding to the pros and cons equally, then what's the answer? Is it inherently a negative thing or inherently a positive thing? It's up to you. In other words, since it's subjective and not really objective, see our previous video, then you can't really prove that this thing is inherently bad or inherently good. The choice is yours as to how you look at it. My advice, choose the light. If you wallow in the darkness, nothing good will come of it. Now here's a challenge for you. Put something in the comments that you think is inherently negative, that has no silver lining, and I'll try my best to find that silver lining for you. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.